Welcome back to another episode of the Men's Mysteries. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety as a symptom of the edge that you need to face in your life. So, when you're experiencing anxiety, what you're experiencing is an invitation to lean into your edge. And it may not seem like that way, because really, when anxiety shows up, it shows up in a number of different ways. It can be an outright panic attack where somebody just, is hyperventilating and getting to the point where they literally can't do anything. But anxiety shows up in a lot of other more subtle ways. Anxiety can show up in the form of analysis paralysis, where you're getting stuck in your thoughts and your thoughts are continually spiraling and you're ruminating on whatever it is that you're thinking about. Anxiety can show up in the form of numbing. So when we numb ourselves through alcohol or porn or video games or some other activity where essentially we're pushing away what we're feeling and experiencing because that's the best way we can handle it. It's really not the best way we can handle it, but that's what we've been taught to do as men. And here's the invitation, and it's going to sound counterintuitive if you're watching this, but it's something that I've found works over and over again. Lean in to your anxiety. Use your anxiety as an edge. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that when you're feeling a sense of anxiety about something in your life, ask yourself, what is it that I'm avoiding here? What am I trying to not face? Because a lot of times what we're dealing with anxiety is something that we don't want to face. And anxiety is really serving as a call. It's saying, hey, there's something wrong in the environment here. Got to pay attention to it. The problem is that it's dysregulating our ability to pay attention to it, because what it's doing is it's acting from a place of survival. It's essentially activating the amygdala, that part of our brain that is oriented towards survival, and that part saying, like, do whatever you need to do to get away from this, or numb it, or do whatever you need to do to not deal with this, because this is dangerous. Let's get real here. Most of the time, the danger that you think you're in is not life-threatening. Like having a hard conversation with somebody may not feel good in the moment. It may feel very scary and intimidating. Totally get that. Not dismissing that at all. But that is likely not going to kill you. And it's a really important thing to recognize that we are essentially relying upon a physiological system that operated really well for our distant ancestors when they were cave people and they had to go out there and hunt in the wild and hunt the food down and gather it and do all the other things they needed to do to survive. It's great as a survival instinct when you're facing life and death situations. And the majority of people who are likely watching this video aren't facing life or death situations. We're facing situations that may feel really scary. We're facing situations that may cause anxiety. We're facing situations that may be, maybe something that brings stuff up, but that doesn't mean that the anxiety has to take control. And when you get caught up in that anxiety spiral, what's really happening is that you're not dealing with the fear. You're avoiding what's underneath the anxiety. Because anxiety, what it typically conceals is fear. Fear is one of two primal emotions. We have fear and we have love. Anxiety can come up around love as well. I mean, let's, put ourselves into a situation where we want to get into a relationship with somebody. There can be some anxiety that comes up. There's that fear of rejection, right? And also that that fear of maybe not getting the love met or the desire met. But in this case, what I'm really focusing on for you is that, anxiety as an edge is ultimately an invitation. What can you do to lean into your edge? What can you do to discover that part of yourself that is saying, I need to be heard? I need to be heard. And that part is also trying to control the situation that you're in. Anxiety is a response to the lack of control that you feel. As men, we have been socially trained to be in control. The idea is that, you have to be in control of yourself. You have to be in control at your job. You have to be in control in your relationships. You have to be in control of everything and have it all figured out because you're the provider. You're the person who's taking care of everything. And what this really leads to is a lot of performance. Men who are performing a lot of the time are men who are anxious at their core because they don't have it all together. And part of that is because they do feel a distinct lack of control in their lives. And my invitation to you, if you're one of those men, is to lean in to that feeling. And yes, it's going to be terrifying at first. But what you're going to find is that as you grow more comfortable being in your discomfort and actually using it to spur you to take action, that is going to transform your anxiety into fuel that helps you do something. And here's the real secret here, and this is a really important one. You have the ability to make a choice. You don't have control over everything in your environment. You never will. You can't control the other people in your life because those people are going to have their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own experiences. And even when they seem to go along with what you want, they're going to do it for their own reasons. It's not going to be because it's something that you decided you wanted. It's going to be because it happens to merge with their interests. You're not going to have control over, random events that are occurring in your life. Like almost none of us have control, for example, over, the political situation or the economic situation or any of the other situations out there that may cause anxiety for us. We have actions that we can take, but we don't have control. And it's really important to recognize that distinction. And you might say, okay, well, that's great. I have actions that I can take, but you're telling me it's not going to give me control. So what's the point? And my response is that it does give you control in one key area of your life. And that control is you. It's how you choose to respond. You can be reacting to a situation, pushing down things, numbing out, trying to avoid what you're dealing with. Or you can face it. You can acknowledge that you're facing something and that it's intimidating and challenging and that there is stuff that's going to come up, but that you have a choice and that what you choose allows you to tap into your ability to respond to a situation. Because the thing is you have the ability to respond. It's the lack of response that actually doesn't serve you. Numbing yourself out is a reaction, and it's not a response. It's basically just automatic behavior. I'm going to numb myself out so I don't have to face this. Okay, you're not facing it in the moment, but inevitably it's going to come back. I mean, that's the thing about anxiety. Anxiety doesn't go away. And if you want it to go away, you've got to actually get comfortable with it. You've got to turn it into an ally. Now, you might say, that's all well and good, Taylor, but when I'm feeling it, I don't know how to turn it into an ally. What is it that I'm supposed to do to turn it into an ally? And that's a reasonable response because there are times where it is going to feel impossible to actually feel like you have a sense of control. What I'm going to suggest to you is that anxiety doesn't have to be your enemy. It's not your enemy. It is part of you. It is a part of you that is asking to be heard and seen and understood. And really, at the core, we all want to be heard, seen, and understood. So when we understand that about ourselves, we can also understand that about the parts of ourselves that are speaking up and saying, hey, danger, danger, Will Robinson, there's something going on here. Or, oh no, hey, I need you to pay attention to that, or whatever it is that the anxiety is coming up about. And it's really easy in the moment to get caught up in anxiety spirals where you're just ruminating about whatever it is you're feeling anxiety about. But that's not going to transform what you're dealing with. That's just allowing you to actually put it off in a way, because you're like, okay, well, I have control over this because I'm thinking about it. But you don't have control, or you wouldn't be thinking about it. It actually has control over you, and it's living in your head rent free. It's like when you break up with somebody, you're going to think about that person at first all the time. You're going to think about all the things that you wanted to say to that person, or you're going to think about how you wish that person would acknowledge where they did you wrong, or any number of other things. Those are all natural thoughts to have. And the real question is, what are you going to do about it? You don't control that other person. You don't control what they can or what they're going to do or not going to do. The only thing you have control over is your response, and it's the same thing with anxiety. The more that you choose to take control of your ability to respond, the more you're able to actually harness your anxiety to work for you. Now, there may be some tools that you need to learn for working with anxiety. One of the tools that I'm going to suggest that you can avail yourself of is a free guide that I have, From Chaos to Clarity, which you can get down below. And this is a free book that you can pick up that can help you. In addition, on July 10th, I'm going to be offering a live class. I've got 12 spots, and it's for men who are experiencing anxiety in their lives. And if you want to learn even more tools and techniques and processes with someone who has developed them and refined them and has used them on himself, so I know these work and has used them with other men, then come to that class. Again, link's going to be below. And this is an opportunity for you to take control of your life and where you're going. You may not have control of everything around you. And yes, there may be some feelings of anxiety, but you can transform that relationship with anxiety. And as a result, you can transform the way you handle your anxiety. You can turn it into fuel. And sometimes what you need is a guide for helping you with that. So if you're interested in that, feel free to share that or click on those links below. Feel free to drop a comment or anything else. If you have any questions or if you think there's anything I missed, feel free to share that as well. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.